There, okay, now we're filming. Working on older houses offers occasional glimpses into the past. As you peel off layers of renovation and reconstruction, it gives you insight into the way that people used to live. Sometimes you even find belongings of past residents that got pressed into the walls and flooring, though these are most often old newspapers and posters that were forgotten about, or used as a shim to get windows and door frames to sit squarely. You also find mistakes, things that were not done correctly decades ago, and which have led to water rot, insect infestation, or insulation failure. We've encountered all of these things as we've worked our way down to the original flooring. But this has also let us learn something about the house itself. The paperwork on this home indicates first construction in the 1950s, but we found old-style wedge nails in the roof joists that date back to before World War II. The roof isn't sheeted in OSB, but was instead layered in wood planks. The widths of these planks vary greatly, but the grain of the wood, along with its color, indicate that it was cut and milled from wood harvested on or near the property. While we can't determine the exact age of the structure, we are confident that the oldest parts were built between World War I and World War II, likely sometime in the 1930s. The original structure was much smaller, 1 or 2 rooms, and appears to have been used as a bunkhouse for farmhands, as this was a legal requirement at the time. Over the years, the building itself was expanded twice, with the first expansion likely updating the structure to receive electricity. The oldest electrical appliance we've found is a large ceiling-mounted draft fan, which is likely to be its own video at some point. The wiring is antiquated and has been spliced or retrofitted several times, raising enough questions about its integrity for us to want it fully replaced. There are the remains of an old oil-burning furnace, supplemented by 2 log-burning fireplaces, neither one of which are necessary anymore, though each fixture is connected to dedicated brick chimneys, which are rarely ever seen in modern construction and make this house much more unique. This house was never fitted with anything more than window air conditioners, though the region is temperate enough that it's possible to get by without them. Each retrofit never bothered to remove the flooring or layering that came before. The owners simply paved over the old stuff, a practice which isn't uncommon, though it does make our job much more difficult, since each successive layer required its own fasteners and resulted in 3 generations of nails, screws, glue, and epoxy that made this process difficult. It's better to start from the base layer when doing any renovation because it gives you a chance to expose some deeper issues that you would only see at this layer. For example, removing the trim of this far wall exposed an unholy combination of termites and wet rot, which had pretty much destroyed this window cutout to the point that one man with a crowbar could bring it all crashing to the floor.
I don't really want the windows knocked out if we can help it, but
I feel like if we pulled this out, which we're gonna have to at some point, that we would just cover that with plastic.
Great for making the demolition process easier, but it adds a few more repair tasks to our whiteboard. Removing the ceiling exposes some significant insect issues. Paper wasps and yellow jackets are a real problem when active, but these nests are all abandoned. The smaller nests are mud daubers, which are generally harmless despite being a member of the predatory wasp family. Insects like this can burrow through thinner materials, but will generally choose to crawl through established holes and passages. Their presence here means there are a lot of paths to get inside the house before we even started demolishing. Tearing out rooms presents a few hazards besides angry wasps. One of the most significant is bad air. mostly in the form of dust. Dust in old houses can contain mold, rodent dung, and other contaminants which can, in turn, cause disease and other respiratory issues, so it's best to wear some kind of breathing protection. I got fed up with the half-mask respirators and wound up getting this 3M full-face unit. It's pricey at $100, but combines safety goggles with breathing protection. Full face masks also provide additional visibility and fog resistance, which allow harder work in harsher environments. The filters you see here on the masks are from Harbor Freight and were perfectly adequate for household dust. Note that, depending on what you find during a demo, more advanced equipment may be necessary. Large hornet nests typically require professional help, as would certain types of termite infestations or black mold. Keep an eye on what you are removing, and if it looks strange, Google it. Most of the time, you'll be fine, but be aware of what you are removing in case it requires special handling or professional disposal. At one point, our neighbor's turkey took an interest and watched us cart out pieces of the living room.
So now she's standing
Come
there.
over here, Jace, and just peek at her
Oh,
through
you
the
know
door.
what?
It's a cute
The
little
dolly. I'm gonna get the dolly.
Now she's in the way. This is something I bet she never gets to do at the neighbor's house.
Here, I'll get out of your way. You won't come in for a visit? Yeah. You gonna sing to me? Yeah, that's pretty. I like it. It's very pretty. Her feathers are coming in now. You're starting to look a little better. Yeah. Can you hear the noise coming? Yeah, I know. It's gonna get real noisy. You might want to go. She got redder just all of a sudden.
Yeah.
She heard that. Are you on alert? Yeah, that's an interesting noise. Oh, you can come in the front door. Do you want me to get out of your way? Come here. Come here. Come on out, baby. She's still in love. When she heard that, she changed.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting out of your way. Come on.
She's molting, so her behavior is a bit more aggressive than typical. She hates my dad, and will follow him around the yard all red and squawking.
The neighbor's turkey likes to come over and,
Establish authority.
yeah. You have to be careful when you turn your back on her. She sometimes makes like she's gonna chase you. She hasn't actually chased somebody yet, but she puffs out and her neck stuff turns bright red, which lets us know that she's pissed. She's really angry this morning.
I did have to keep her out of the insulation we were removing from the ceiling, which she would try to peck at, but otherwise stood by and watched us work for a while before wandering off, as she is prone to do. After several days of work, we are nearing completion of the initial demolition, most of which is focused on surfaces. The last room to be demolished will be the bathroom. Once this is complete, we will start evaluating changes to the internal structure. Some walls, despite being stone, are not actually load-bearing, which gives us the opportunity to consider removing them. Our goal is to modernize and reinforce the damaged areas, level the floors where a near century of use has warped or bowed them, and overhaul the internal utility systems. Ethernet, PEX-based plumbing, rebuilt wiring and breaker boxes are all necessary to support more efficient water heating, filtration, and climate control systems, which we hope to adapt for solar power. If things go well, you'll see us work through each of these challenges over the coming months. That's all I have for now. See you all next time.